Hey everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Switzer. I am your host and I am the Clydesdale. We love to do fitness and I got a whole bunch of friends. So tonight we got Charlie, we got Cat, we got Patrick from the Morning Chalk Up back with us again, and Amy.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that Patrick is going to get the 5-time smoking jacket here pretty soon.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're what, at four now, Patrick?
Sure.
4?
I mean, I know we've been working on our merch, but couldn't we work on a 5-time jacket with some merch that says
like the SNL jacket that they give people?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The Steve Martin jacket.
I'll wear it too.
Yeah, you will. Let's go. We're going to work on that.
Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to throw a shout out to Emma Cary. I posted it on our social media, but they were so cool to send us a signed shirt thanking us for having her on. They held the Summer Solstice 2 a couple weeks ago, and it went off really well. I talked to her dad, and they were really pumped about the competition that they held, and everybody had a great time. And Emma was kind of the star of the show, getting to take pictures with everybody, and so that was cool to see. And we want to thank them very much for that. And now it's become a permanent part of the backdrop of the podcast. So thank you very much, Cary family.
And Emma is seriously getting strong, like very quickly.
Ridiculously strong.
As we speak. Yeah.
I understand how. I mean, I understand how, but she's like, she's very, I guess, unassuming maybe? I don't know.
She's tiny.
Yeah. She's tiny. That's what I'm saying. It's like, but she's so freakishly like strong and fit. I mean, she kind of reminds me of what Haley was when Haley was raised. So it's a very good comparison.
Her technique is
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I cannot wait for the next Open to see how she does. It's going to be so cool.
So we're in the last week of our nutrition challenge. The boys are winning by a landslide, I believe.
Shut up. No way.
Wait a sec. I haven't updated my points yet.
Yeah, I disagree. I will say, though, that I didn't realize that less than 6 hours of sleep was a -1. I thought it was just a 1. So I did go back and changed all my 1s to -1s. I don't think it changed any of the prior weeks, but just to let everybody know, full disclosure, I was not cheating.
Sure.
Nope.
Sure.
They all say.
So we just got to finish. What's that?
You all look great. So I think everyone's going to hear this.
Yeah, I know the girls are both down 2 pounds this week, which is awesome. And I had just lost another 1, but, it's up to 17 total through the 6 weeks.
That's awesome.
Scott, you didn't see this, but I'm going to throw it out here because I'm going to see if you can just add this on the screen later. But I saw a before and after of Mr. Charlie Odie, and the before was from September last year, and just this week. First of all, saw some abs. Second of all, dude's looking real strong.
Cary Pierce is kicking in?
Cary Pierce is kicking in.
Well, I called Ricky. And
Rick, you got some juice?
him and his brother sent me some stuff. I can't say what it was, but
They come in a shaker bottle.
it was a shaker bottle.
A little test tube shaker
An
bottle.
unlabeled shaker bottle.
It was completely black and no labels on it, but whatever.
Exactly.
I trust
Sure,
him.
safe.
Oh, you look good, Charlie. Real good.
Well, guys, there's a little bit of news this week. It actually broke over the weekend, the first part of the news, and that is that the games are going online for the first part. All 30 athletes on each side, the men and women, will compete in an online games event, and then the top 5 from that will then move to Aromas to finish off the part 2 of the games. So, any thoughts?
I think it's a good call. I'm excited because I think that we've seen that how after watching the Rogue Invitational, how we can see how that has worked. So I'm excited because of that experience. So otherwise, I kind of would have expected to just say this year was a wash and move on. But I think this way we get a little bit of competition to watch.
Casha was not going to let that happen. Come on, you know better than that. No,
Yeah,
I think
we
from
have
an
to-
entertainment standpoint, I think it's going to be entertaining. I mean, right now the dates they release, I don't know, but it's 7 days. I don't think all 7 days will be competition. Otherwise, you're talking about 21 events if they do 3 events a day. But I do believe Dave when he says that it's going to be the hardest competition to date because it's in his backyard. So with having that many days with only 10 total competitors, I can definitely see an event that will maybe 1 or 2 days where it's just one event that just smokes everyone, and maybe even a recovery day in there.
So I don't want to be the polypragmatist.
You don't want to be
But-
Cat this time?
Yeah.
Hey.
But, I think they're at a big risk here, right? The online portion is a risk because you are supposed to be the Super Bowl of the sport, that upper echelon of what people expect. And Rogue hit it out of the park with theirs. So now everybody is going to compare it to what happened with Rogue. And I'm not sure that CrossFit is capable of pulling that off by themselves. Now, if they get with Rogue and say, hey, what did you learn from that? What can we put together here? But it's going to be compared, and it's going to be interesting to see if it holds up to what Rogue did in the spring.
Everything we've
I-
seen
Not
from
gonna care.
Eric,
Not gonna care.
yeah, I mean, I think everything we've seen from Eric at this point, I wouldn't put it out of range for him to talk to Bill and Katie and see how they did it and figure it out that way. You
Well,
seem
we
to be
did
making
hear-
the right moves.
Yeah, we did hear that they're not going to have to all compete at the same time. So it already isn't going to be like Rogue, right from the get-go. And so it's going to be people competing like over the weekend. I don't know if they're going to have a chance to repeat workouts or, game the system in any way. I don't know how you sort of publish that as a, for viewing. I think people initially look at it on the surface and say, oh, it'll be like the Rogue thing. That was cool. It is not going to be anything like the Rogue thing at all.
Well, and some more breaking news today were the actual dates. And so I want to give those out real quick. And that is the first stage will be Friday, September 18th, and will last 2 to 3 days. So that's the online portion of it. The second dates are October 19th to the 25th. So that is like 7 days, a full week. So that's interesting. Like Patrick said, that's a long time to be an Aromas. The other thing is that came, I was actually able to talk to a games athlete today. An email went out to them with those dates. And in that email, it did say that there was going to be more information about judging, times, equipment, all of that information that we don't really know about right now. That Rogue did a great job because they gave everybody the same equipment. We don't know if everybody's going to get the same equipment.
No.
Initially, we heard no. This email says they'll hear more about it in the next week.
The way I interpret it, and like I said, I think Dave said it on one of his live, is that no, they're not going to be providing the equipment. I mean, logistically, that's not going to happen. You don't have the time to send, all that equipment out, even if they already have it. So you're going to see just open workouts, what you normally would see, whatever box provides. And you can't help when you hear online competition, you're always going to hear Rogue, especially since they set the standard, but it's unfair to CrossFit. And quite frankly, I don't think Castro cares. I mean, he's even said it himself. It's like, it's not going to be Rogue. He doesn't care. He's just going to run his event. He's not going to compare it. And because he's the number one show in town. And it's true. He is the number one show in town. And when it comes to fitness and, I just don't see it logistically them doing, especially in such short a time. I mean, we have a little over a month for them to set all that up. And, half the athletes are overseas. It's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I understand all that. I wish that they would have not that flippant attitude about it, right? You're coming out of a PR nightmare that you're trying to put your best foot forward, and to just say it, that's just that old attitude from CrossFit HQ of, I don't care about anybody else. I don't care what they do. This is what we're going to do. And I think they just need to be careful about that going forward.
I think I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I mean, if you start listening to all the haters, you end up catering to them, and it's never going to be good enough. So Dave has an expectation. He wants to keep this as simple as possible, and by making this online competition a complicated matter, and they don't have the logistics to handle that right now. It comes down to logistics. It really does. And it just, just something Rogue planned, and they were able to turn around, and they spent a lot of money on it. And, obviously the CrossFit Games isn't going to make any money this year. And so what's the sense of throwing a lot of money into something that's not going to make any money? Rogue had the money. Rogue's making money off of that. They're a business much larger than CrossFit Inc. is. So that's why they can afford to do something like that.
Yeah, I think my concern too is that I just with it being more of like an open format type thing. I mean, I don't know how creative they're going to be able to get with those workouts, but are you going to send the 5 fittest to Aromas? Hopefully.
Yeah. One thing I think has to be restricted is repeat workouts. It's not the games if you let them repeat.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to make sure someone's policing that at every location, right?
Well, they're supposed to be sending a seminar staff to each location.
Yeah,
So
but that's 60 athletes across a weekend, right? I mean, Rogue, what was Rogue? 20 athletes total?
40.
40.
Oh, it was 40. Okay.
Well,
All right.
38, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
2020. Okay. I mean, it's just, a lot of planning and a lot of thing. And then there's like chatter about, are the seminar staffers really the ones that should be judging this stuff, right? There's talk about, should this be done by, judges that have more experience than that was sort of once a year event thing.
That's a great point. Great point. I actually was thinking about that today. And then, the thing that Armin brought up so eloquently is the drug testing.
That was awesome.
And I can't say it better than him, so I'm just going to reference him.
Yep.
He brought up my boy, Lefters Tiafanides, who I made a vow I wouldn't speak of again. And yet I've had to speak about him about 3 more times this year. So, but yeah, check that out. Check Armin's channel out for that, because he really does kind of eloquently talk about the holes in the drug testing. For this
you may have stolen my favorite thing on the internet this week. Just saying.
Yeah, you can still talk about it. So,
go ahead.
The last thing about that I wanted to talk about is when I was talking to the Games athlete today, in their email, it did say that they have received one proposal from a network to broadcast and stream the games, and that they're expecting a few more. So that's really good news, because last year we had none of that at a games that was held traditionally. This one's going to be kind of chaotic, and yet they still have proposals, at least one legit network proposal, and more supposedly on the way. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah. And that, if and when we get to Aromas with those 10 athletes, it's going to be epic. Like, I can't wait to see it. So I'm glad that there's going to be some access there.
From a coverage standpoint, it'll be easier with a smaller group.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good camera angles and.
Yeah, and you'll get, all those 10 athletes are going to get so much exposure. It's going to be so good for them.
Again, though, the logistics, we all saw how, if you look at the 2016 games, when they did the trail run, it was very limited in terms of coverage, because, the only way you're going to be able to cover that is if you put camera crews at every or cameras, live cameras at every like critical point, or you have a very talented drone operator, which the network I heard that made a proposal has the ability to do all of that. So yeah, but I mean, kind of go back to the whole point of like, will the 5-10 fittest people, make it through an open type online thing? I think so, because if you look traditionally at the open, if you take the open from the last 5 years and you take the top 5 in each men and women's category, they're
Usually
legitimate athletes.
Yeah.
There's hardly any outliers. So I mean, this year one of the outliers might be someone like Jeffrey Adler, but I mean, he's obviously fit. I mean, he'd be, but so I'm not too concerned about the online. I still think it's going to weed out some of them, even if they are traditional open workouts, which is fine, because that means when they get to Aromas, they're going to face non-traditional open workouts, that's ultimately what we want to see. We want to see them doing that grunt work, carrying those odd objects, doing stuff we normally don't see at a CrossFit gym. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But like all of you, I'm excited to see 5 people, men and women, 10 total, just going at it for 5 days, 6-7 days, however.
Well, I'm going to be penny positive instead of polypragmatic over here. Here's the deal. I am feeling so excited that there is some type of possibility of a season. When I am hearing left and right, here about not having football season, not having this season, the fact that we are able to figure out some way to have some type of season in a safe way, I'm all in. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And speaking of competitions coming up, next week, the Masters Fitness Collective is happening in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I wasn't sure that it was actually going to happen, but like I said, it's happening. And Scott and I are going. It's going to be awesome.
So is Patrick.
Oh, yeah. And Patrick will be there.
Yeah.
So we're a week out and it's still happening.
And talking, I just wrote an article on the safety protocols, and having someone like Bobby who makes his money, his regular job is he runs senior assisted living community. So that guy knows about the safety protocols. He has access to technology and tests that most normal competitions won't have, and he has the medical staff. I mean, he's bringing a lot of stuff, a lot of his knowledge from COVID-19 to this competition, and talking to him, he seems very excited about it. Morning Chalk-Up's teaming up. We're going to be providing some coverage. The Buttery Bros are going to be there. Talking Elite Fitness is going to be there. You guys are going to be there. So all the who's who of media is going to be there.
I just can't wait to get on the floor and watch some fitness. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's going to be – I'm really looking forward to it because, we're so used to the volunteers, the people, those of us who volunteer, when you get to go hang out with your friends, right? Even though we have to wear masks and we have to do all that kind of stuff, it's at least we get to go hang out with our friends again. I've missed that. Yeah.
And I mean, last year, I think I judged at like 6 or 7 events, and this year I've judged at 1. So like, this will be my second event of the year. And, normally I would have been, 4 or 5 deep, and then maybe even the games this year. So I just cannot wait. And I haven't traveled anywhere since March. So I'm just excited to get out of the house. And
I was talking to Tommy about this. I'm like, Tommy, who would have thought that our first trip would be to Fort Wayne, Indiana, of all places? I mean, this is something me and him all of us were, Morning Chocolate, we're talking about our trips to Australia, to Denmark, to the Netherlands, to Egypt, Spain, Italy. And now our first trip is Fort Wayne, Indiana. But you know what?
Hey, I'll take it.
It's a 5-hour drive from St. Louis. It's going to be fine.
Yep. I can't wait.
Hey, Charlie, if they run out of athletes for the Masters,
let's go.
Are you in? Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. You heard it here. We'll volunteer.
You got your Ricky juice. You're ready to go.
That's right.
Well, another competition has gone on recently, and Patrick has been covering this for the Morning Chalk-Up, but the Titan Games crowned their 2 champions this week, and both of them CrossFitters. And more CrossFitters were in the finals. I mean, it was it was obvious that the fittest people in the world in that type of event, odd objects and things like that, CrossFit's a great training ground for that.
Yeah, Matt Chan, Danny Spiegel, they did a great job. I hope CrossFit takes advantage of their titles too, to try to broaden their audience a little bit. I was excited that they even posted something about it. That would have never happened pre-tweet, right? I mean, not ever. So I'm
Pre-tweet.
so, that's, yeah, PT, that's like the time before. Yes. So I'm really excited that they did that, and what a great opportunity to sort of get this sport more mainstream, right? Which, I mean, I know we all think that it is mainstream, but we are such a small percentage of the population that, you know, live and breathe it. And there's so many other people that still don't know about it or don't understand it. So I hope they, like, you know, glom onto that and really take advantage of the fact that we've got, you know, these champions that were on network TV.
Well, if using the whole network TV, the numbers haven't came in for that episode yet, but the prior episode had 3.7 million viewers. Now, 3.7 million, those aren't all CrossFitters. Those
Right,
are,
exactly. Yeah.
so the brand, I mean, it's out there. So even though they weren't using the term CrossFit, what's going to happen is people are going to look up these people on their media, social media, and they're going to see their CrossFitters. They're going to see them training. They're going to see them outside of that spectrum, that produced package that NBC does so nicely for them. And then that's going to bring them along. And I think the new direction that CrossFit's going to, and like you said, that Instagram post caught me by surprise as well, of them retweeting that. And it also shows that it wasn't CrossFit that was denying NBC the use of the word CrossFit. It was probably the other way around.
Yes.
But
Right.
but it's great. It's great to see that. Another piece that we're working on is me and Tommy are working on our takeaways, and that's one of the takeaways that we're getting, is that it's giving CrossFit a chance, especially the athletes, to kind of just, you know, branch out and find, you know, a bigger audience for them. And that's good for them, because I mean, a lot of them are turning this into their livelihood, and what better livelihood is that? So I mean, they're making their livelihood off of social media, so this helps.
Yeah, 100K, I'll take it. Like, that's great. It's good for them.
Yeah,
Especially
nice
in this-
prize money, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they didn't.
A heavy trophy.
Yeah.
I was joking with Matt about that, about, like, I think that might have been the hardest event in the final test, was lifting that trophy. And he agreed. He said that trophy was very heavy.
That's great.
Do they get to keep that trophy, actually?
They haven't received it, but apparently they do get to keep it, but neither of them actually went home with it. So yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to get it, just a matter of when.
Well, it might be
Maybe
the NDA
maybe a
giving
lighter
away.
replica. Right.
Pardon?
The NDA would be given away if you have a big trophy sitting in your house like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's part of it as well.
Yeah, and they both dominated. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, Margot was right with Danny until she crashed head first into that wall.
Did you see her back?
Yeah.
Like, where
Totally
where
scraped
did
up.
that come from? Was that, I mean, that wasn't running into the wall. It must have been from something else.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to break her shoulder. When I saw her hit that, I'm thinking,
That was
oh, no.
scary.
Like, because remember, Danny, you guys, Scott, you had said something like, maybe something happens with Danny's shoulder. You know, I predict that might be a cause or a result of that show. And I'm thinking Margot might have broken her shoulder.
Yeah,
I was worried she had
I picked Margot thinking that Danny hurt. That's where she hurt her shoulder,
Right.
and I was wrong.
Well, I was worried Margot was going to have a concussion.
Yeah.
That's
That
why
was
they
crazy.
give them helmets.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah,
Well,
and Matt. Oh, go
Matt
ahead.
had the best idea, just getting on his butt and using his leg strength. That was, you know, he had it figured out. And, you know, like I said, he's a fireman, so he's used to busting things and busting down doors and busting through walls. So that was no small. That was easy for him.
And we need to point out he was a masters athlete.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
he's 42.
Oldest guy there. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and he knows how to swing a hammer, being a fireman too,
Exactly.
which helped a lot in that event.
Clearly.
Yeah. He might have
Yeah,
been
that was
probably
fun.
the most unassuming athlete after Will Sutton. I mean, if you saw Matt, I mean,
Hunter Strong.
exactly. If you saw Matt, you wouldn't really think that guy was one of the fittest men on earth. He is fit. I mean, he's built, but you wouldn't think some of the guys he went against and some of the people in that final, yeah. So that just shows you CrossFit.
Yeah. So the next thing we want to talk about is the We Belong CrossFit movement real quick. And because I've kind of participated in that a little bit and I've helped out with it a little bit, but it's really Athena Perez's dream, her vision and her passion, but it has gotten so much pub recently. I know you guys featured it in the Morning Chalk Up a little bit, Patrick. But it's just no matter what shape, size you are, we should all belong to CrossFit. And there is an Instagram page called We Belong CrossFit. And the most inspirational part for me is when Athena asks people to send in pictures of themselves so we can show people what CrossFitters look like. And she got, it seems like 100 pictures, maybe more, that she just started running over and over again. And it was really cool to see all the different types, shapes, sizes, colors of people that are CrossFit. And I hope that CrossFit sees that as a way to kind of reach out to the general community.
I think it's first of all, I think I love the idea. I love the fact that it says like we belong. Like, I just think that is just, it feels good. It feels so positive, but I think it's also an important thing that we're doing right now. Certainly she has shared parts of her story about weight loss and the challenge of being a larger athlete. But I think just also we belong is also like we are welcoming, so that athletes, of all colors and sizes, as you were saying, absolutely belong in this hub that we call CrossFit.
And so I wanted to bring that up in another way because Loud&Live just made an announcement that, and I think, Patrick, you did this article too, that they are taking applications for a new kind of demo team. And that is a demo team of all fitness levels, all shapes and sizes, so that what's that?
Including masters, beginners, intermediate, so that they can test their events through all levels. They can demo their events with all levels of fitness. I think that is a huge step in the right direction. Guys, got anything?
We're going to agree.
I think I was one of the first people to send in my application. I want to do that.
Then you can't judge.
Why couldn't I judge?
I guess the fine print said you couldn't compete, so maybe.
Right. I would argue that a judge would be a great person to do the demo because you can sort of influence the workouts and how they're judged and what's easier, what's harder, that kind of thing. So I hope I don't get discounted because of that. But why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? Like, I just think it's cool. I'm guessing it's for like video demo, it's not like in person before the event kind of a thing. It's.
I think you get tickets to all the events as part of the demo team.
I think it's for everything. It's traditionally, like I said, they do have a team down for Wodapalooza that demos a lot of those. They bring in athletes, and then, but when I judged down at Wodapalooza, they didn't have an actual demo team on site that demonstrated the events to the teams. So I think they want someone that can encompass both, that can do the videos, that can come in, test the workouts, and also show up for the events. Hence, one of the reasons why you would be ineligible to compete, because one, you know the event, and two, you have another job. So they would, it's more legitimate. It's just like in regionals when they have a demo team. Obviously those demo teams they're showing the movements, and they're doing everything that the athletes are supposed to do, and so that way they can see a proper demonstration in the right form and everything. So I think it's a great move. It's a great move in the right direction, and I think for the community, it's pretty neat. I like how they're reaching out to different divisions, different skill levels. So it's just showing that, hey, we're just not catering to the elites, and that's what Loud&Live is trying to do. If you look at all the Loud&Live events, they have multiple divisions, whether it be adaptive athletes all the way to the masters. So it's showing that they're taking their season, their five competition seriously, and they in order to do that, they want to be legitimate by having a demo team.
Well, Scott, you won't be able to do that demo team,
No.
right?
Well, that's the hope. The hope is that I could qualify as an athlete on.
Yeah, because there's a plan about that.
There is a plan. So kind of along those lines, I do want to, well, I've already announced, on a previous episode that a couple of people who have had journal stories written about them, including myself possibly soon, we are getting together to form a beginner team for Wadapalooza, but we have to get through the qualification process. So not counting my chickens yet. But speaking of journal stories, just real quick, just to let you guys know, Kat and I are doing a little spin-off podcast that is launching on August 25th, and it is called Beyond the Journal with the Clydesdale and Cat, and it is going to feature journal stories, those documentaries that, having been through the process, they film you for 2 days, they interview you for hours, and it gets cut to about 10 minutes. We want to fill in those gaps. We want to do this in a long form, like an hour-long interview with the subject of that journal story to find out everything about that person, all the struggles, all the hurdles, all the obstacles that they overcame, and the successes that they're seeing today. Plus, a lot of these stories were done 2018 or before, so we want to see where they are today and how they're doing. So that is launching August 25th. We've already filmed our first episode. We're just kind of getting some things in order before we launch. And do you have anything else to say, Kat?
No, I was just going to say that, I think the person that we feature in our first episode too really appreciated the opportunity to sort of fill in those gaps, right? I feel like the subjects of these documentaries have something specific that they want to get across, and aside from being recorded, you're not in there editing, producing, and things like that. So, and not that this person was super thrilled with his documentary and how it turned out, but I think just having the opportunity to sort of clarify some things or emphasize things that maybe didn't get covered was cool. And it's nice to just see where they are now. Like, I'm a big fan of you see these amazing stories and you wonder, like, okay, it's been 3 years. Are you still clean and sober? Have you kept the weight off, or have you overcome your demons, like whatever it is, or do you own a box now? Like, what are you doing? Are you still CrossFitting? It's just interesting to see, how things progress. I'm really excited about it.
And we were able to ask like what their reaction was when the documentary came out, what happened to them when all that happened, what did they experience? And you don't get to see that in the documentary because it happens after the fact. Right. And this person was super excited about what had happened, and it's given him a lot of opportunities that he wouldn't have had otherwise. So that kind of cat's out of the bag. It's a male.
Yeah, sorry.
But you'll see who that is. We'll launch that on August 25th.
Yeah, and if you guys have ideas on people that you think we should follow up on, or documentaries that sort of moved you, especially that you would love to see a follow up on, let us know.
Can't wait. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're excited.
Very
and so now we're going to get to some of the fun stuff. Today I watched Talking Elite Fitness's podium picks, and it was their top sports movies. And I don't want to get into a big deal about this, but they have a tendency, Sean and Tommy have a tendency to just set me off with a couple picks on those podium picks real quick. And when you put Rocky as like Spirit of the Games or Dark One, it didn't make the top three. Like, I was already lit up because Rocky is the greatest sports movie ever. End of story, no doubt. And to put it out of the top, and then Tommy put Rocky 4 in the top 3.
No.
Which, okay, it's a good movie, but Armin has shown how ridiculous Rocky 4 is. Rocky 1 is actually believable. So
Rocky 3 is believable. Clubber Lang is the greatest athlete of all time.
Yeah.
Thunderlips also.
Was Karate Kid in the top 3?
No, it was not.
Ridiculous.
I actually have their list.
Ralph Macchio, come on, dude.
If you want to know who theirs are, the top 3s for Sean were Caddyshack, number
Negative.
3, Bad News Bears number 2, and Slapshot number 1. Tommy's World,
he's a
Remember
Rocky
the Titans number 3, Rocky
Yeah.
4 number 2, and The Sandlot number 1.
Okay. I agree with Sandlot, and I agree with, did you say Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to add Rudy.
Yeah, I can't believe no one said Rudy.
If it wouldn't have happened at Notre Dame, I might have said
Okay.
but
Listen.
No, none of those were my top choices.
All right. Let's hear them, Patrick.
In no particular order. Any Given Sunday. I love that Life in Inches speech that he gives. The program, I don't know if anyone you remember that.
Mhm.
It was about college football. It was kind of it was comedic, but it was, I don't know, at the time when, I'm a former college football player, so that really influenced me like through high school when that came out. So, and then Miracle,
that's a good
Okay.
choice.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So
yeah,
mine
Miracle probably would be number 1. The only reason why, and I'm not a huge hockey fan. I mean, besides I'm a Blues fan, but the reason why that means so much to me is because I was working at ESPN at the time, and ESPN is owned by Disney, and that was a Disney production. So as a present to all of the ESPN employees, they rented out a movie theater and invited all the ESPN employees for the grand premiere showing of that. It came out. We saw it like a month before it came out in the theaters, and it was really cool because I thought, it was really neat that they did something like that for us, and they had free popcorn. I love popcorn, so that's another reason why it's probably my number 1, because of free popcorn.
Know who's in the program is Omar Epps.
Yep,
Mm.
Omar Epps.
Okay. Now
See,
we're
and,
talking.
and my idea of a sports movie is like Jerry Maguire, which isn't really a sports movie, but
Is Bloodsport a sport movie?
sure, loosely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
competition.
had Rocky, The Natural, Field of Dreams, and then just outside The Fighter. The Fighter is a very underrated movie.
Underrated, yeah.
What was that, Radowski? You had something to say?
I'm writing it down. I'm saving it for when I talk later. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to make a comment about that because I guess they accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, Sean and Tommy, because they always get me like fired up about whatever their choices are on that thing. I just wanted to say that. So real quick, I just want to remind everybody that we have a giveaway going on. There's 2 ways to win. You win a choice of your shirt that we have in our merchandise line. You get a coffee mug, Campfire coffee mug, and 5 stickers. If you comment with 2 friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe and follow the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends Instagram. The other way is to post a picture of you doing something that makes you feel Clydesdale fit, meaning just strong. You can do anything, and you're just putting in the work and getting stuff done. And just hashtag that with Clydesdale Fit and tag us in the post, and we'll draw randomly Sunday at noon for those 2 prizes.
Scott, can you give an example of Clydesdale Fit?
So for me, like back squatting 470 pounds,
Yep.
posting a video of that makes me feel Clydesdale fit.
Nice.
But anybody can be a Clydesdale. It's whatever makes you feel strong and makes you feel like you're getting the work done. So I don't want to cast that on anybody. It's whatever you feel when you feel big, powerful, and strong, like a Clydesdale. So now we're off to our stupid questions of the week. And our first one is just kind of a fun one. And it is the best concert you ever attended. Let's start with Charlie.
All right. So it is 1984 Victory Tour Jackson 5
wow.
in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Why don't we start off with that? Way to go.
Wow. State of shock.
Yep. It's fantastic. Still remember it to this day.
I bet. What a cool opportunity. Who'd you go with?
My mother, actually.
Yeah, I sure hope so. For someone, an adult, at least some adult.
And my girlfriend at the time. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Because
So
you
was
were
that
like
like a-
9.
Was that like a mother-son thing outing, or did the bunch of the family go? How'd that work?
No, it was me and her.
Just her. Cool.
What a great memory.
Yeah.
Kat, what you got?
So I have my daughter and I, Bruno Mars, the 24K tour. Took her for her birthday a couple fall seasons ago, whenever that was, up in Philly at the I don't know, TransUnion Center or something like that. We had terrible seats, but it was awesome. The guy did not stop dancing the entire time. And we were dancing and just had a blast. So
Patrick?
Oh, it's hard because I've been to so many concerts because I help out with doing photography for any concert that comes through St. Louis. So, but I guess if I had to pick one that I didn't work at or was employed, because that kind of ruins it, because I'm usually backstage or I get to meet the person or something like that. But I guess as a fan, just a straight up fan, oh man, it'd be a tie. Sorry. It'd either be Digital Underground at Copper Dragon in Carbondale, Illinois. I saw them in 1999, or Avett Brothers at the Red Rocks in 2015.
That
I'm
would have been
thinking
a good one.
Red Rocks wins. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll make that
I
decision
don't
for
know.
you.
Digital Underground, the Humpty Dance, that was something. Oh,
Dance.
yes.
Big like a pickle, still getting paid.
Yep. And then, it was right after Tupac died. Not too soon after. So that's where Tupac originally got his start with as a roadie for, so they played a lot of Tupac songs in memory of him. And, it was a small venue, and I was front row, and I was, I was during my Hennessy days. So, but it was a great time. But, two different types of concerts, but both are, equally favorite.
Radowski?
Okay, well, I'm giving 2, and here's why. Because Scott Schweitzer never follows his own rules on his own show. When he poses a question or something, he always has 2 of something, even though he asks for 1. So at my family dinner tonight, I was talking about the questions that were going to be asked, and it was going to be favorite concert. And one of my kids mentioned one that I'll bring up. And I was like, of course, that's the one. And then my son was like, it's not this other one that we went to. And I was like, makes a lot of sense, because y'all know I love Australia.
Really?
Am I right? So the Wiggles, when Nathan was 3 years old, I saw the Wiggles.
Wiggles.
Same.
All right. The Wiggles, by the way, some of them are still around. They're from Australia. And here's the cool thing about the Wiggles. They all met in college because they all were studying early childhood, and they decided to get together and have a band. So that's cool.
I love
Okay,
how you
nerd.
just said the cool thing about the Wiggles. That's like
Yeah.
a very odd phrase.
Yeah.
No.
Nerd.
Hey, cold spaghetti. Hot potato,
Yep.
hot potato. All right. Then I was surprised with Charlie's answer, because my actual favorite concert going was
Janet Jackson.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah.
And here's why it was so amazing, because we went with this big group of people, and like we all went out for drinks and stuff beforehand, and Charlie and his wife and my husband and I were walking in together, and Charlie's like, hey guys, come over here. And we go over there, and he's like, hey, this is my friend so-and-so. They slap wristbands on us, and we had floor seats, and I was literally I thought I became impregnated by Justin Timberlake just through osmosis that night, because I
Wow.
was that close. So
Okay then.
Well, on that
Justin
note,
Timberlake.
let me go ahead and do mine.
Me too. I almost was too.
yeah, he was too.
Actually
Neither there.
was, so sorry.
Okay. So yes, I did pick 2, because I have my personal one, which is U2 is my favorite band in the world. I've seen them several times, but usually it's in a stadium tour because they've gotten so big. But in the early 2000s, I saw the All That You Can't Leave Behind tour, actually in Nationwide Arena, and was really close, and it was flipping amazing.
You didn't get
And
pregnant, so you weren't that close.
true that. And then my other favorite one, and it's probably become my favorite one now, is I took my daughter to see Panic at the Disco. And I went in and I didn't know that I'd liked them. And then once I saw them in concert, now I'm like their biggest fan. I listen to them all the time. I listen to all their albums all the way back to the beginning. But yeah, Panic at the Disco, they were freaking amazing. That guy can sing the phone book. He actually did a Bonnie Raitt song while suspended above the crowd playing a piano. It was unreal.
Wow.
So
Amy, I need to share you some videos and some pictures behind the scenes, or actually in concert with JT last time he was in St. Louis.
Yes.
You would be so jealous and envious of me.
I can't wait to see them. Just send them on over.
all right, so let's slide into our best personal CrossFit moment. So let's start with Kat.
Bar muscle up. First time I got a bar muscle up. I have it on video. I know exactly where it is on my phone. It's marked as a favorite. I've shared it many times. I did 2 in a row, my very first time. I was practicing for years and years with a band. And my biggest complaint at the box that I went to was that all the bars were too high. And so it made it very hard for me to sort of get that really good first swing, because I was spending all my time jumping up to the bars. And I would put out 12-inch boxes with like gymnastics mats over top. So I had like a long runway to like get to these high bars. And then they finally installed a second rig like on another wall. And there was one bar that was like perfect height. And I was in a class and I saw the bars and I said, I'm going to try that bar muscle up after class, because I'm old and I have to get warmed up first. So we did the workout, whatever the WOD was. And I walked right up to that bar and I did 2 bar muscle ups. And then I got down and someone said, let me get a video of that. And I was like, yes, please get a video of that. And so got a video, did it again 2 times. Awesome. Favorite moment.
Amy.
Well, mine also includes bar muscle ups, but it was, and I think it was a 2016 Open that called for bar muscle ups, and all the coaches would usually do the WOD like Friday Night Lights. Remember that, Scott? Okay, so there was one where I was going.
My life.
Worst time. It was Friday Night Lights, and I was just going with 2 other coaches, and they were, pretty well versed with their gymnastics movements, and so they're just getting all theirs, and everybody was happy. But the cheers in the gym that night were more for me, because I was getting bar muscle ups, but maybe I was doing one and then coming down, waiting 2 minutes, and then getting another. But just the atmosphere of the cheering, like knowing that wow, they're actually cheering for me and excited for me because I'm accomplishing this, rather than them being like, yeah, they're good and they've got this. So that was exciting for me.
Patrick.
Mine, it was going to be bar muscle up, my first bar muscle up, but actually my favorite moment is last summer, right before the games, I deadlifted 490 pounds. So I was pretty happy with that. And then of course I wanted to go for 500, and then I strained my back. Yeah. I tried to do a Sam Dancer where I kind of like, just
the jackhammer.
Yeah, just try to, bring it past the knees and kind of bring it up, and I strained my back after that, and but I was still proud of that 490 deadlift, especially at being 42 years old at the time and getting a PR. I mean, yeah, it was pretty cool, and it went up pretty easy, that 490. So I guess I got a little too confident, and then also didn't take enough rest. I thought the adrenaline would get me 500, but the 490 came pretty casually. It was a random class where we weren't trying to max out. They just said do or get a 1 rep max. There was just a max out for that day, and it just worked out. And so haven't came close to that number since, or neither have I tried. So, but that's probably my biggest moment, because I really I'm a back squat deadlift type of guy, and that was pretty cool.
Charlie?
I'm gonna say mine was kind of multiple things happening in a day. When I first started at our gym, one of the guys who was a member there was getting married and decided to have his bachelor party. His bachelor party was kind of a CrossFit theme where we went to 3 different gyms and did 3 different workouts in a day. Had a little lunch and maybe some drinks in the middle of that, but just that. And I may have been there a month or 2 and got to go to that. But I think that was great in terms of doing movements that maybe I was good at, maybe I wasn't, but just that camaraderie and doing something with those guys was great.
Yeah, that was a blast. That was a fun day.
Yeah.
So I always have 2. I have one pre-injury and one post. So the pre-injury includes Amy. The pre-injury is back when I kind of hit my peak fitness, losing all the weight, and had really been like doing 2 a day, stuff like that. And we did the team series together, and it was the event where it was 4 named workouts done as a relay. And so it was Karen into Grace, into Diane, into Randy. And all 4 of us PR'd our event that day by like not a little, like a lot. We just were on fire that day, and there was just no better feeling to do that as a team, and to push yourself for the team to do that. So that was awesome. And I was the Randy leg because I love snatches, and it just was a freaking blast. That day will live forever for me. And then my post-injury thing is just last fall. I did a competition with a few friends, and my push jerk max was 215 pre-injury. And since I came back, I didn't really lift much. I was trying to do lighter weights, more reps, faster. And so the first event was a push jerk max. And that day I push jerked 240 pounds.
Whew.
So a 25-pound PR coming back, that made me feel like, okay, my back is now strong. I'm able to do this stuff. Let's push and let's go. So those are my 2.
I would say that's Clydesdale strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys said all this, because my original one's going to be my sub-minute, 10-minute Fran that I did last night. So.
Oh,
nice.
good work.
No, just kidding.
Sub 10-minute friend. I'm still working on that. Yeah, mine was not a bar muscle up, just so you all know.
Yet.
So now we want to introduce next week's guest. As we told you guys last week, we do a run of interviews to kind of get them all done, so we can kind of take a breather for a little bit. And next week's guest, man, super, super fun. It's actually 2. We have 2 guests on Monday's episode, 2 for the price of 1. It is Mike and Sage Burgunder.
Woo!
We sat down with them for a while. The 2 of them are so competitive with each other. It was just a blast watching them dig on each other. And Mike is so wise, and you can see that his daughter is like following in the footsteps and supportive of all of his processes and the ways he does things. It was just a really cool interview. And they were very laid back and very open and honest about, Mike is never not honest about things he sees or things he believes.
They're both sassy. I love it.
Yeah.
Especially
we could have talked to them. I could have talked to them forever. Like if we're ever going to have anybody back, like we could have them back every Wednesday night. Like it would be so fun.
Then they'll
They
take
were
my
great.
jacket.
What's that?
Then they'll get a jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They were
the
good.
best part, which is not going to air, just to let you guys know, is we finished the interview and they did not know how to shut off Zoom. And they're walking around the gym talking about the interview they just had with us. And then all of a sudden Sage looks at the computer and goes, "Do we need to turn this off?" And we're like, "Yeah, kind of." And she goes, "Well, I'm glad we didn't say anything bad." But they were a blast and a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed that Monday night or Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time, that'll go out. So really excited about that.
Super fun.
And let's finish up with our best thing from the internet. And let's start with Amy.
Okay. So it's funny that somebody brought up Jerry Maguire earlier because that was my thing. So I saw a tweet and it was, Scott, I sent it to you, but was it the Big Ten or the
Jerry
Big?
Maguire was the Big
Yeah.
Ten.
Okay, yeah. So it was Jerry Maguire, and it was him, having the bag of fish in his hand. He's like, "You guys, I'm leaving. Who's coming with me? It's going to be great. Are you coming?" And everybody in the office is standing around, and so they're like the coaches, the players, the fans, and nobody gets up.
Renee Zellweger is the Pac-12.
Oh, yeah.
Because
And
she ends up standing up and leaving with him.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are all the other conferences going, "No, we're good. You go ahead."
Yeah. It was a good time. So that's my best thing.
Charlie.
Since I wasn't there last week, did you guys talk about Mike Tyson already?
Yeah, we did.
No, I'm kidding. CrossFit Mayhem, as you know, does a YouTube thing. And I think it was earlier this week they did Rich did a workout, the same workout he did in 2010, and they put a split screen and kind of showed his time going against him, obviously himself, just to see if he's more fit than he was in 2010. Wow. Spoiler alert, he killed his time. That was from back then. As well as the time that actually won the event, which was my man Josh Bridges.
Yeah, he didn't just beat his time. Like it was over a minute, I think.
Like he was sitting around, just hanging out, and people were still working out.
The best line of that, because it was actually one on my list for best thing from the internet, is Ben, their videographer, had never seen him compete back then, and he's watching the video going, "Rich, I've never seen you rest so much."
Rich qualified for this year's games, obviously, and he said no. But you know what Rich is going to do? Even though he declined his bid, he's not going to do the online workout, but he's going to do the online workouts.
Oh, for sure.
It would be so cool to see if he would make the top 5 based on the online workouts, And it'd be a shame because if he did finish in the top 5, him not actually going to represent, it'd be a shame, but again, it had more fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
True.
So Patrick, what do you got?
So I don't know if you guys follow Fluffy Duck.
Oh, yeah.
But he does the Duck of the Week. Is that what it's called? Where Ducks of the Week, where he just sits there, eats his banana while he watches highlights, and it's the craziest thing ever. Because I'm a fan of his. Actually, me and him, we actually started off kind of like not seeing eye to eye on things because of a meme he put up earlier in the year. But me and him, I think he's hilarious. But he this week was pretty funny, and I think the one it was someone in a competition. He was doing a snatch, and of course it fell on his head, and he flipped over the bar.
Yeah.
Someone's in a Globo gym, and he's hitting that. Instead of doing the pec machine like this, he's reverse, and he's like showing the flexibility, and he's bringing it around his back. And then there's and I think the worst one is there's 2 guys stretching, and one guy's holding the other guy's neck, and he's putting muck stretches, and he's on his knees, and a guy goes around behind to film, and it's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
Not a good look at all, but that's some of the funniest thing, and just watching those clips while eating a banana, it's overall it's just disturbing and hilarious.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that one.
So now it's time for the cat. I love his brain segment of the show.
Well, no, see, I picked two, so I can talk about something else. But yes, his little clip, Armin, his little clip on the drug testing thing for the Open was real good, and it's part of a larger recording that he has, but he like clipped it out and separated onto YouTube. So yes, always have one of those. My second one is I posted another TikTok video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was now on my For You page. So for those of you that don't follow TikTok, when you go on, they give you like this For You page, which is basically like based on your likes and interests, they give you a feed of what you think you might like. And there's all these so basically on my For You page, it's dogs, fitness, and keto for some reason. So those three things is basically what I follow. But there was a fitness, I don't know, personality doing all these workouts. And she always wants people to challenge her or like duet her on the thing. And she was doing push-ups on kettlebells. So her hands were on kettlebells and then her feet was on a kettlebell doing push-ups. And she does like 1.5 push-ups. And I thought, well, that's weird. Like, I think I can do more than that. So damn it if I didn't go into my garage and I set up the camera. I had to text my daughter to ask her how to do a duet because I have no idea how to do that. It took me like 4 takes because every time I tried to put my feet on the kettlebell, it would like fall over. Finally got the right angle and was able to bang out like 4 to her like 1.5 push-ups. It was fun. So that was my favorite thing.
It was pretty impressive. I have to give you that.
Thank you.
That was cool.
I think I had more in the tank. The song just ended. And so I was telling my daughter, I said, I could have done more. She's like, Mom, film your own and then have other people duet you. And I'm like, maybe I will do that. So more to come. You never know.
All right. Well, I always have a list just because if someone takes these, and Charlie did, as he always does.
You have one option.
No. I got the one I've got to tell you about because it happened right before we went on the air. Dave Castro went live on IG and he was doing a workout where it was lateral box jumps and he fell off the box.
No.
He hit the box weird and went ass over tea kettle right off the box.
Is he okay?
Happened. Yeah, he got up and finished the workout, but it literally happened maybe 40 minutes before we went on the air. So funny. I was laughing so hard. But my real best thing from the internet is Hard Knocks came back last night. I got to watch football of some kind, some way, some shape. But it was really interesting to see how these teams are preparing for COVID. All the steps they're going through to keep everybody safe. It is freaking crazy.
Okay, so what is Hard Knocks? I don't know what that is.
So it's done by HBO every year. It's a documentary of usually one team in training camp.
Training camp, yeah.
Oh, I have seen that.
But this year it is both LA teams. So the
Got
LA
it.
Rams and the LA Chargers
Sounds
kind of
terrible.
simultaneously.
Makes
Is
no
that the
sense.
one
Yeah,
where
'cause
they
the Rams
show?
left St. Louis.
Is that the one where they show people like getting cut from the team and like the trainer comes in and like taps them on the shoulder and then they go talk to the head coach?
Well,
and-
this year the
okay.
trainer would not be tapping them on the shoulder.
Well, yeah, they'd be.
He would be at a 6-foot distance going, hey, we need to see
Hey, you.
Just put your playbook right there.
Got it. I have seen that.
Hey,
Yeah.
sorry. When you're done, I have something to add about sports in general.
But the coolest thing is the Rams closed all their inside meeting rooms and made an outdoor facility under tents so they could spread out more because the walls would constrain them too much. So it was really neat to kind of see that. And the locker rooms are spread over multiple rooms now. And the one guy's a practice team player, and he was going, why am I down here in the projects? I need to be up there in the suburbs. It was great. It was great. So I was just super happy that happened. Yes, Amy.
The sports thing I was going to say is the Columbus Blue Jackets last night started at 3 p.m. Charlie, did you watch that game? Okay, what time did that game end?
8:00, 8:30.
What kind of team is this?
Hockey, ice hockey.
Okay.
It's our professional hockey team.
Hey, Suns.
5 overtimes. 5 overtimes.
They almost
goalie-
played 3 games.
The goalie had 87 saves.
Yikes.
Can you believe that? There you go. There's news from Columbus. Okay.
Almost 3 games worth and only 5 goals scored.
And one he scored on himself.
Okay.
So, well, that's our show for the week. We're glad you joined us. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. We'd love to hear your comments about our thoughts on different things. Last week I got some heat for saying that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a terrible movie. I actually got some heat about that.
Love it.
So bring it. I love it. And I'll shout out, it's my friend Bacon. He came at me pretty hard about that. So Bacon, come at me some more. I love it. I love the debate. And we'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya.